Moving to a new city, cold calling a client or hundreds of them, meeting new people, doing a new presentation, venturing into new sectors or businesses that I knew nothing about. Most of these things weren't comfortable for me until I repeated the action enough time and got familiar with it and became a professional at it. It's so tempting to become content with your surroundings, your daily rituals, and your habits, most of which are probably not furthering your mission. They're not even challenging you anymore. Many of you listening to this are bored with your own problems. Look, it feels good to me when things are familiar. It feels comforting. It's like nurturing to the little boy, right? But look, that's not where I'm going to grow. Successful people are willing to put themselves in new and unfamiliar situations. They're willing to meet new and unfamiliar people. They're willing to go to new parties. They're reaching up. They're not reaching down. They're not reaching sideways. They don't have just their old buddies. Now they got new friends in addition to their old friends. It doesn't mean that they're always changing just for the sake of changing. That would be ridiculous. However, they know that getting too comfortable, too relaxed, too familiar causes a person to become soft, and he starts to lose his or her creativity and hunger to stay out front, to be challenged by what the other players are doing. So be willing to be uncomfortable and do what makes other people uncomfortable as well. It's a sure sign that you're on your way to success. 31, reach up in relationships. If it were up to me, this would be a basic course for every year that someone attended school. It would include drills in which people are encouraged to do things that they're not comfortable doing. The successful constantly talk about having people around them that are smarter, brighter, and more creative. Look, that's just not blurbs they're using. They're all saying the same thing. Dude, I surrounded myself with great people, bright people, smarter people than me. It's unlikely that you'll hear one of them say, hey, I got where I'm at, because I surrounded myself with more people just like me. Yep, that's right. I surrounded myself with people actually that were dumber than me, slower than me, that didn't think big. Average people, on the other hand, typically, if you look at their life, spend his or her time with like-minded people. You're only comfortable when you're around people that think like you do. Man, that's not expansive. And even some people that I know spend time with people that actually bring less to the table than they do. Make a habit of reaching up in all your relationships toward people who are better connected, better educated, and even more successful. By reaching up in your relationships, these people are going to have more to share with you than your supposed equals or less thans. No offense, okay? This habit is connected to their willingness to change, challenge tradition, grow, and do what others can't fathom. That's what you want to be around. Reach up, never sideways, never down. Base your decisions on what will be the greatest investment to move you toward your ethical commitment to create success for yourself, your family, and your business. The people with whom you surround yourself are going to have a great deal to do with whether you achieve your goals or not. Let's face it. You don't want to go horizontal. You want to go vertical. If you want to go vertical, then you got to go vertical with your friends. You want to go up. You do this by associating yourself with bigger thinkers, with bigger dreamers, with bigger players. Look, black belts don't learn new skills from white belts. They can be reminded of the basics from a white belt, but remember that a white belt cannot take a black belt to a red belt or to a higher degree of a red or black belt. Look, you can't become a scratch golfer by playing with bogey golfers. You get it? You have to interact with people who are better than you, smarter than you, who are more connected than you. Reach up, don't reach sideways, and don't reach down. It's what successful people do, and it's the only way to become better yourself. 32, be disciplined. Remember, we're not talking about money here when we're talking about success. We're talking about success in every area of your life. And to do so, you will not be able to compromise this thing called discipline. Discipline, by definition, is an orderly, prescribed conduct that will get a person, an individual, or an activity what it wants. Discipline is a requirement for you to be a 10x player. Unfortunately, most people's disciplines look more like bad habits instead of the admittedly uncomfortable 10x actions that we have to make disciplines for you. Discipline is what you use to complete any activity until the activity, regardless of how uncomfortable, regardless of how challenging, becomes a normal operating procedure. In order to ever attain and keep success, you must determine which habits are constructive and then discipline both yourself and your group to do those things over and over and over again until it becomes a discipline. Okay, if you find you don't have all the previously mentioned 32 successful traits and habits, or maybe you see yourself having most or some of them most of the time, but then you occasionally fall off a bit, look, no worries, don't worry about it. I don't implement or have these every second of every day. I would expect that most of the people listening to this don't consistently display all 32 of these qualities all the time. But you want to become aware of the list. You want to keep this list close to you. You want to keep these 32 traits so close to you that you're looking at them all the time, that you're becoming, very, very aware, so that you're able to make new commitments to making these techniques, if you will, these indicators, part of who you are, rather than merely something you have to do. You want to make this part of your life. Although I don't personally operate in the success column of all 32 of these 100% of the time, I'm going to tell you what, I know what they are, and I know I'm operating with them most of the time, and they're becoming part of my life, just like I'm breathing air. I make efforts to ensure that I spend most of my